Hey, welcome back to Black Lab Garage. Ready for a cheap and easy starter upgrade? Well, let's get into it. See, the thing is, unlike these Ford 400 engines, they're ultra low compression. Well, most of them from the factory, on your distributor, you had regular vacuum advance, and you had another nipple here that ran over to a thermostatically controlled valve that also run on vacuum that would retard the timing when you was cranking. So the vacuum advance worked two ways. Okay, but because they're low compression, and depending on whether it's a car or truck engine, the camshaft being retarded 8 degrees, a lot of times when you get them to where they run really, really good, it'll make them hard to start. I mean, as far as turning over. Now, they'll start fine, but it makes them harder to turn over because being low compression with retarded timing, they lack a lot of initial advance. Well, a lot of initial advance, it'll make when you go to crank them, like the battery's going it. Which your battery and starter's fine, it's just hard to turn over because of that much initial timing. Yeah, you can back the timing up, but then you lose power and you lose fuel efficiency because once they're running, it runs fine, doesn't spark knock or anything. Because, it's just in that design and low compression. Well, the problem is, Ford always used these old direct drive starters. Did I say it? Direct drive starters. These right here, they weigh about 37 pounds. Well, actually they're around 20 pounds, but it seems like a lot heavier than trying to hold it up in there and get the bolt started through it. Well, then in the mid-90s, I know around 94, Ford started using these little mini starters. Which this is an old original one, if you can't tell. They started putting those on the Mustangs and the trucks. So anybody that has a small block Ford, you can use one of these. They're easy to get. And usually cheap in the junkyards. And they work great. Like really good. Okay, well that covers the small block Ford crowd. What about the big block Ford crowd? No, I don't mean you FE guys, because you're on your own on that one. Well, big block Ford, of course, 429, 460 is a 385 series. Well, don't forget, the 400 Ford and the 351 modified is their cousin, the 335 series. So guess what? A starter that fits the 429, 460 also fits the 351 modified and 400. Well, in the trucks, Ford started using the mini starters in the mid-90s. Guess what? Those will fit exactly the same on a 351 modified or a 400. The only thing you got to be aware of is the starters are not the same between automatics and manuals. The automatic, the nose on them is about 3/8 of an inch longer. If I remember right, I think it's about 3/8 of an inch. So you have to get a starter for automatic or manual depending on what you have. But outside of that, it's a direct swap. I got this one to put on that white ton truck. Best of all, I got it on clearance for $38. So let's see if we can get this bad boy put on there. Just look at the size difference between them. But yet this one's, usually most of them I've ever looked at, the gear drive starters, mini starters, are usually about 1 horsepower stouter than the originals. Of course, as usual with anything electrical, first thing you want to do is unhook your battery. Okay, got that. Second thing, go ahead and take your cable loose that runs down to the starter. Go ahead and pull the starter cable off, because you're not going to be hooking it back up to that. Now, if you have any other wires coming off this side, put them back, but only the cable that runs down to your starter, pull off of it. Okay, now I'm going to crawl underneath and take the old starter loose. I don't know if you and me both can fit under here. Well, there it is off of it. And also, there's the cable that's running down to the starter. I think I'll go ahead and replace it because it's looking a little worse for wear. But if you look, I can find where it was at. Yeah, right there. If it'll focus. Motorcraft. That's the original battery cables from 1979. So yeah, it's a good idea to replace them. Now before you bolt the starter back on, you'll see there's a little stud over here to the side, and there's a wire that comes off of it. It came with the starter. There's a crimp connector right here. Go ahead and cut you a piece of wire, fairly long, and then crimp this connector and slide this shrink tubing that they sent with it, that looks like it's 40 sizes too big, up over it, and then shrink it to it. Hopefully it shrinks that much. Let's see. Well, I'm impressed. It actually did shrink down that much. So you can do this other part two ways. You can go ahead and put your battery cable on here now, so it'll be on that end when you put the starter, when you bolt the starter into place, or you can go ahead and bolt the starter into place, then put your battery cable on, which is probably what I'm going to do. But you can do it either way. Mine had this bracket and this grommet that holds your starter cable to the frame rail. So I went ahead and slid the new battery cable and the new wire that we ran to the starter solenoid on the starter through the grommet. And I'm leaving it loose for now until I can get it adjusted to where I want it. And then I'll take something, smack that bracket and tighten it back down on the cables. Now we feed this cable down to the new starter. Alright, we're in the home stretch now. Remember that new wire we ran down to the starter solenoid on the new starter? Okay. And on this truck it had nothing else on that side of the starter solenoid, so that's it. That's all you hook up on this one. Like I said, if yours originally had something else over here, hook it back up, but there is nothing else runs to the starter on this particular truck. Now I got it. That's hard to do with one hand. So new battery cables here, or new starter cable I should say, that run down to the starter. Battery cables here, and then the other two wires are put back as they was. So the only thing that's new is the starter cable. Now let's well, it didn't take off cranking. Let's see what happens. Alright, let's see what happens. That's a whole lot better. Sounds weird because those little starters do sound weird, but now I want to let it sit here and get warmed up because they're harder to crank when it's warmed up. As you can see, this one's, well, if the sun wasn't glaring so bad, you can see it's cold. So we're going to sit here and let it run until it warms up, and then crank it over and see how it does. Alright, you see here it's warmed up, you hear it running, so here we go. You ready? Perfect. Because used to it's kind of embarrassing because you go to crank it and all, you know, you know, everybody thinks that you're poor and can't afford a battery or something. It ain't that, it's just the timing's so far advanced, but that's where it likes to run. I mean, listen to it. I mean, that's just a thing with some of these 400s and stuff, because of them being low compression and having retarded timing. So I'm gonna drive it to the dump, gotta haul the trash off. So let's see how it does there. See, there ain't no spark knocker or nothing. That's just where this engine likes to run. And this ain't the first one I've had that's like that. So there you go. A quick and cheap starter upgrade for, well, not just 429 and 460, but 351 Cleveland, 351 modified, and 400s. I mean, it don't get no better and cheaper than that. So appreciate y'all watching, and hey, hit the thumbs up and comment. Most people won't never comment. So appreciate y'all watching, and stay tuned. Me and the pups will be back with another one. And remember, listen to more Goose Creek. See yous.